Hello everyone from Tony, the Scout Ghost. Today it's a very special day for me because for the 9 year of my blog, I'm here with one of my favorite people in VR, a person I esteem a lot, which is Kyle Riesenbeck, which is, let's say from Upload VR, but I know it from much before Upload VR. It's many years he's in the industry. It's one of the great guys in XR. Kyle, thank you for being here for this interview.
It's my pleasure, Anthony. I really appreciate that you've invited me on for this conversation for your fans, and I guess for uploads and hours. So
So let's start by my first usual question. I know there are maybe some people that lived in a cave in the last 15 years and they're just waking up, come out to the world and say, who is Kyle Riesenberg? So can you tell them about your story?
sure. Let's see. I'm 46. I like long walks on the beach and dancing in the no. So yes, I guess I feel like I started in the VR scene like I don't know, what was it, 2011 or whatever, when
Wow.
the Oculus Kickstarter started. At that point, I was just doing Android hacking. I was custom bootloaders and ROMs and all that sort of thing. And somebody sent me a message once and said, "Hey, have you seen this new piece of tech?" And I'm like, "No, what is it?" "And Oculus Rift." "Okay, Kickstarter." That got me into the industry, and I started doing a podcast, the RevVR podcast, because I was at one point, I guess I still am in some respect, Reverend Kyle. Uh, that was my moniker when I first got into the industry, and did the whole podcast thing for a while, and then teamed up with Ben Lang over at Road to VR. And he and I worked together for a little while, a year or two, where I was part of that team, and that was cool. And then after that, I kind of parted ways from being partnered with him. Went solo for a while. I was a developer. I did a lot of VR developing for several years out in Seattle, Washington. Worked for several, I would say, more commercial B2B type of stuff. We were building training modules for big box chains, things like that. So I'm a Unity developer at heart, I guess, sort of. I always claim I'm the world's okayest developer because I'm not great. I'm not good at all, and I haven't touched Unity in a little while now. But yeah, eventually, Upload needed somebody to run their, Upload as an entity, kind of, and then so the only thing that's really left from the original Upload regime is the news outlet, and so it splintered off on its own, did its own thing. In 2018, I took over that, and I've just been kind of chilling in the background, running Upload and interacting with people in the industry since then. Wonderful folks like yourself who are covering the industry from all angles. There's so many different, niche outlets out there that are covering very specific things. It's really important to give everybody an opportunity to talk about this amazing burgeoning tech. And so yeah, I'm just playing my part, one pillar of many that hold up this industry right now, and help push it forward.
Well, that's a very humble way of saying that. But actually, one of the very important person in our industry, especially on the press side. And by the way, I feel your pain about being Unity developer because I'm a Unity developer myself. So
Hmm.
I still do it. And by the way, Unity 6 is pretty cool for many
Oh, okay.
VR-related things. Maybe one day we'll code together, but for now, let's go on with the interview. And I have a curiosity.
Sure.
Many people ask me about the Scar Ghost thing, and I haven't given answer, but I've always been curious why you were the Reverend. Was it because of how you were used to dress, or can I ask it, or better not?
So you want to know why Reverend Kyle, huh?
Yes.
Yeah. So uh, interesting story. A friend of mine got engaged to be married and said, "We want something a little unconventional. We want one of our friends to to officiate over our ceremony. And I said, "Oh, being a fan of the TV show Friends, I saw that Joey got ordained on the internet. So I did." It's funny too because I have right around the same time that that happened, Gmail. Google put out Gmail for the first time, and I had to come up with a Gmail account name, and nobody wants to just be Kyle, you know. So I was like, oh, I'll do Reverend Kyle. Well, that was taken. So I'm like, I'll do my initials, Reverend KJR, which in retrospect, I wish I hadn't done that because people think I'm a junior. They see K Junior. So instead of KJR, which are my initials, so people always think I'm a junior. I am not. The Reverend Kyle, originally when I was doing Android stuff, I was Reverend Kyle, your minister of mobile devices. That
Wow.
was my, and if you go back and look at my old YouTube, well, it's still there. I mean, my YouTube channel, but if you go back and look at old videos where I'm doing tutorials on how to, crack a bootloader on an old Motorola phone, very different tone than what I do now. It's a little bit more laid back. But yeah, somebody told me once, if you're going to be a personality on the internet, this was a long time ago, before the word influencer even existed. Somebody said, if you're going to make it big, you got to have a name somebody's going to remember. So I became Reverend Kyle. And that was critical. If I hadn't done that, I think there's a very different multiverse version of me that didn't continue on with all of this, and who knows where he would be right now.
But it was very cool. I remember it very well, because Reverend Kyle sounds very well. It was cool. So compliment for the choice. Instead, for me, the problem is people say Pascal goes with how many K? How is pronunciated? So probably I should rebrand myself in other way. But
Yeah.
but
You
anyway,
have a brand. You have to have a name, a moniker, something that makes you stand out, because without that, people don't remember you.
that's true. But let's now go talk about your new job. New job, let's say, after the podcast, etc. at Upload. Now it's a lot of years that you work there. And many of us are actually on the other side of Upload. We are the reader. So we are the people trying to put the
Mhm.
content to it or whatever. But maybe people are wondering how it is working at Upload.
It is, I would imagine that every news outlet is probably experiencing the same thing. There's too much news, not enough time, not enough resources. That's the case all the time. We as an industry, there's several different verticals in the, I'll just say, the reality industry, because it's not alternate reality, it's not extended reality, it's not. it- there's so many realities. It's just reality. It's the reality industry.
Yeah.
There's so many different verticals. There's like 360 cameras, 180 cameras. There's B2B. There's flight sims. There's out of home entertainment. And I mean, there's so many different ways that you could cover this industry. You can get real granular, or you could stay high level. Upload. A we are 100% virtual. There is no upload office. I continuously get emails of people who are cold calling me, offering um, rug cleaning for my office, water service, uniforms. I get a lot of cold calls, emails of people who are just trying to sell the upload offices services. And one actually has said, we know we used to service your office a few years ago. Would you like us to come back and do it again? And I'm like, no, you didn't. I mean, you might have a decade ago. I don't know. There's a lot of value to not having a physical workspace. So everybody is at home working in their respective office. Like, I'm in my office. This is my office. It's just a room in my house. Uh, it, we spend all of our time talking to each other online or doing video chat just like this. And it's it's got its pluses and its minuses. There's times where I wish that I could run into the other room and just grab the editorial team and be like, yeah, we need to talk about this. But I can't. And so we're beholden to everybody's different schedule. We're a global team. We've got people scattered all around the globe. And over the years, we've had people in several different continents. And so this industry feels sometimes like we're putting out fires constantly. We're just constantly, oh no, somebody dropped this. Oh, we better get this. Oh, there's an update to that. Oh, there's this, there's it. And I mean, that's just the nature of this industry. The nature of this industry is everything that comes out, every piece of news is exciting. Everybody wants to hear about it. And it's our job to get it out there in front of people. But to also do it properly, to be objective, to be fair, balanced, not to take sides, not to play favorites, not to let money dictate what we do, because it is about the passion. It's about the desire to see the industry grow. Because I think a lot of us in the industry right now are doing the same thing. We're all looking around going, what's next? What's going to happen next? I mean, what is the next big thing that's going to drop, that's going to, push this a little further ahead? And who's going to do it? And who's going to be in charge of it? And who's going to be responsible for it? And, how's the world going to react? Numerous times in my life, I have chosen the wrong side of a battle. Back when I was a kid, because I'm so old, I remember the modem wars. I remember when it was K-Flex versus V90. Which of the 56K modems is going to come out on top? And I'm like, oh, it's going to be V90, right? And then it's like, no, K-Flex. And it's like, no, V90. I thought Blu-ray versus HD DVD. I chose HD DVD. I was like, this is definitely going to be the way, because Blu-ray, it sounds like a fish. Nobody's going to want to buy that. I was wrong. I was very wrong. So that's cool. You make mistakes. You pick the wrong side of things. But being in the news world, you need to take everything at its face value and not choose things, not make a decision and say, oh, this is going to be the way to go, so we'll just kind of push this and get in this camp. We don't do that. We let people. We're not trying to help anybody succeed or fail individually. We're just reporting on the industry. And so, we do a review. It's not great about a game. The value of that to the developer isn't, oh, boo-hoo, they didn't like our game. It's, oh, well, what level of constructive criticism was given that we can use to better our offering? And that's the best we can hope for. That is the best we can hope for when we report, do a review or something like that. If we do we do our showcases twice a year. We do the summer showcase, we do the winter showcase. Not surprisingly, the winter showcase ends up being the bigger one each year because it's the end of the year. Everything's out. When we do one in late June, early July, it's not, things are still cooking. You don't want to report on coming soon is the last thing that I want to put in a showcase, because soon, when is soon? Soon's 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years. Who the hell knows? Look at how long we all waited for Duke Nukem Forever. Or I'm still waiting to play Grand Theft Auto. I mean, I just want to play GTA in my headset officially, properly. I don't know. It's crazy to think about all of the chaos. It's a controlled chaos. This entire industry is just controlled chaos. And it's going to get worse. And this is what makes my job so exciting at Upload, is that it's going to get even more chaotic. And it's kind of fun. You got Google, you got Microsoft or Samsung or some other random out of the woodwork stealth mode company, or you got some old regime come in and go, oh, I know I've been out of it for a while, but here's something new. I mean, there's always excitement. There's always
Yeah.
excitement. I mean, this industry is still very young, and I think Upload is very blessed to have been able to get into it when they did, and be here and be present for all this. Because I mean, the big news outlets, they do a lot of stuff and they cover it, but they don't cover it the way we do. And because we get it better than they do, I think. And I think we're closer to it. I think that's what it is. It's personal.
That's pretty cool answer. I love the thing about the chaos, which is true about XR, and we love to be in this chaos. But something that intrigues me, also try to steal some secrets from you, is how in all this chaos and all these news, maybe you pick how to write a good story, how to write a good article about that. So you will require probably a book just to define this, but just to give some piece of advice or someone maybe wanted to become a VR journalist and watching this video.
As a member of the media, I am also a fan of the thing that we report on. And so I know when I flip through news outlets for something other than XR, VR, whatever, things other than our industry. I am a child of the 80s, and I was a huge fan of He-Man and Masters of the Universe. And I'm very excited that they're doing a live action movie that does not star Dolph Lundgren. I hope he gets a cameo. But anyway, he I want to read news about this movie, and I can tell when somebody has written an article and I'm like, this is AI, or this just got burped out from a press release that just got reworded. I can tell when an article is not valuable to me. And
Hmm.
so when I go and I read things in our industry, in XR, I know what I like to read. I know what articles and topics are going to be valuable to me. And so do our writers. Uploads writers know what is valuable because they are also passionate about this industry. And so when we put out an article, if you're trying to ask, like, how do you know this is the right article? Well, we don't, but we know what we would read and we know what we would find valuable. And I think that's critical, to have passion for the thing that you are working on. Because a lot of people, it's just like, all right, here's the press release. Let me reword a couple of these things, add a sentence here, add some context there. 200 words, not even that, 150 words later, I could have just read the press release. What did you do? Well, I just wanted to get the headline on my website for the clicks, for the traffic. Great, and that's all wonderful, but how much value did you add to the industry? How much value did you add to the reader when the reader is done reading your article? My grandfather told me a long time ago, he said, never do a piece of work you wouldn't be willing to put your name on, to let
Hmm.
everyone know you did it. That's yours. You're responsible for this and you're proud of it. And if you're not, don't put it out there in the public. It's just a
Wow.
high standard. And that's how we have had the success that we've had, I think.
Oh, this is a very good lesson, and this is also a bit how I started. Say, okay, let's write something I will read, and I don't know if the others are interested, but that's a very good point of view on things. And regarding your audience, so since you have millions of views every month, etc., what is the kind of things people are most interested in reading about instead? It's more about games, about hard tech. Do you have some statistics or general impressions you can share?
Yeah. I can tell you exactly what kind of game to make, and what reporting to do to make $1 million. No, I'm kidding. I don't know. Uh, we have just as much fascination with this as everyone else does. On occasion, I will grab, you know, I'll get my phone and I'll be like, oh, my phone's going crazy. Why? Okay, well, we have an article on the site on a random Saturday that just happens to be getting huge amounts of hits. Why? Why? We had very specifically, we had a D&D article, an article about a game that was D&D that went free. And I'm not going to name any names. I don't want to play any favorites here or anything, but there was a game that went free that used to be cost and now it was free, and it's D&D. So Dungeons and Dragons, huge vertical of people that are into that. Free, a lot of people like free. So you put those two things together and you put an article out for it. Why are people going crazy on this article? This article beat every other article we had for the month, like
Wow.
overnight. And I'm like, why? Is it because it was Dungeons and Dragons? Or was it because it was free? And so I start analyzing, do people just need free? So articles that do well on our site are best ofs and top free and things like that. These are things that as part of the target audience, I don't want to pay all this money to try all these cool games. I miss demos and shareware things where you get one level. I miss
Yeah.
those days. I wish there was more of that still, but I understand that there's not really. It's difficult to, police that sort of thing nowadays. But yeah, I don't know why the article went crazy. Was it free or was it D&D? Or was it because it just happened to post at the right time at the right place? Did somebody share it somewhere where it normally doesn't get shared? We don't know. We have no idea. We can trace it as far as we want. Can it be duplicated? Don't know. Maybe. Wild West. A lot of this stuff. You try to analyze it. You try to find numbers and statistics. And I'm not a huge fan of statistics. I think 72% of all statistics are wrong, and the other 48% is made up. Yeah.
Well, that's a good thing. It's true that I also experimented this myself. Sometimes I write, an article spending a lot of hours and no one cares. Then I write this thing like just spending 1 hour, whatever, and bam, skyrockets. And I'm like, why? I don't know, but maybe right moment, right topic, right time. Who knows? But talking about generally about the fact. I mean, I'm a blogger. You are working at a big, let's say, magazine. We both about writing stuff, and we have also. I think we are a bit in a difficult moment because there is people that are more interested into videos. Google getting always more crazy about organic, ChatGPT, let's say, stealing some views or stuff like that. How do you think we writing people can survive in this complicated landscape? This is a question just because I want the answer.
Yeah. So unfortunately, we have been victim, as so many people are in this industry, of somebody coming to our site, uh, grabbing one of our articles and republishing it as their own. It's not theirs, it's ours. It's our content. One of our writers wrote it, and it ends up on their site where they get whatever amount of clickety clicks that they can get from whoever decides to read it versus ours. Um, it's nature of the beast. It is just the nature of the way things happen. Plagiarism, steal, theft. I mean, it's what it is. It's theft, and I find it unfortunate that people would take somebody else's work, pass it off as their own. What do I do? Nothing. I do nothing. I let them do bad things and hope that the universe sends them their just dues, their karma. And it has happened. And it has happened. I actually uh, have a lot of faith in my audience, in my readership, in Upload's audience. They know to come to us. They are dedicated to the mission of making this industry succeed, and they know where to go to get their real news. And if they want to go somewhere else and read a a Walmart Temu version of it, then so be it. Let them do that. We are going to continue to provide the best quality content with the most amount of heart and passion behind it. And it's not about the clicks. Clicks are good. Clicks are great. Advertisement, sponsorship, all the things, the money, it makes the world go round. And you have to do those things. But ultimately, I just want to put out good content and have I am a firm believer that the good guy will win. I just am. I like heroes. I like the hero story. I like the idea that that we can be successful without subterfuge, without malevolence, without being mean. I'll give you a good example. I was at AWE, as were you, and we hung out. Ran into Ben Lang there. Hadn't seen the guy in a few years. Walked up, shook his hand. How you doing, buddy? This is great. Good to see you. Hey, we'll talk soon, and that kind of stuff. We're not competitors in the sense that it's a healthy competition. But I want Ben to succeed. He wants us to succeed. We both, it's kind of trite now, but people have been saying it throughout the last decade or so in the industry. But a rising tide raises all ships. And the industry's success translates into our success and Ben's success and your success and everybody else out there who is a content creator or an influencer or a journalist. The success of the industry is what drives us, because we could have the best outlet in the world and write the best articles about the best content. But if you remove the industry, if you remove the content, what are you writing about? Yeah. What are you going to do? So we need the industry to succeed in order for us, because if the industry fails, which it won't now, but if we had this conversation 7 or 8 years ago, if the industry fails, what are we all going to do? Well, we're all going to talk about the failure for a little while. The dust will settle and we'll go do something else. But we're not there. We're here where things are successful. What do we do? What do we report on? What's our driving motivation? And how do we deal with other people stealing our traffic? I don't know. We created a subscription system for Upload this past year. And we're I don't know, 3,000 free people signed up. It's great, Oh. And then we've got, it's and all you get really by the free is the ability to have conversations, talk on the articles, leave, comments. We had removed that at one point. So we did, we originally cut out the ability to do comments on the articles because it got unruly. It's hard to, I'm going to go ahead and say babysit some of the content that was being posted. And so we turned it off, and then everybody complained. And then, so we brought it back, but we wanted to make sure that you were a subscriber of sorts, that you're willing to throw an email on, not just anonymous, because anonymous is the easiest way to be the bravest person you can be. Unfortunately, it also makes people foolish. And we got the comments back. It was a huge success. And then we offer also, it's just a free tier. You can sign up. Go do that right now. Everybody's listening. Just go sign up, get on Upload, and be able to make comments. But then there's a $4 option that gives you an ad-free experience. It's great. There's no programmatic ads anywhere on the site when you pay $4 a month. It's great. And then we have a $30 a month for people who want to be a patron. And this is a person who is genuinely subscribing for the purpose of the continued success of our site. And these people get thanked, they get mentioned all the time. They're on our About Us page on the site. It's a wonderful thing. And we're going to be making some tweaks to that down the road. We've had a few people who are developers who wanted to support us with some other perks.
Wow.
And so we're developing currently in our plan right now is to have kind of a developer patron status, and we're trying to put together a very comprehensive package for what that type of patron would get. Um, you know, our success having that many people that we know come to us and know that they want to read us. Now, they might also be reading other places. Getting in multiple sources of news is very important. If you're only getting your news, from one place, that's very bottlenecked and it can be one-sided. So you really want to make sure that you're seeing multiple versions of the same article. I appreciate when you take an article from Upload, put your own little spin, post, comment, opinion, and you post it. And I read them because I'm always curious to hear what other people's take is. And I love that also that you do Upload, you do Road, Road to VR. It's nice to know that there are people out there who are, I don't know, kind of agnostic about who or where they get their news from. They get it from everywhere, and then they decide what's valuable to share with their audience. And so it's important for us to make sure that we're providing good content for folks like you who are sort of, regurgitating it and making it your own. And it's wonderful because that's where, I started doing that in the industry much sooner before I started doing, actual journalism. And there's some value to having that kind of transition. Yeah. So I think there's a lot of people out there doing a lot of different things in the industry, in the news area. I don't love the term influencer. Content creator, very generic. I mean,
Yeah.
content creator. I mean, if I make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, I'm a content creator.
Yeah.
I don't get a YouTube plaque for having made my 100,000th peanut butter and jelly sandwich. I don't. I don't know a content creator, but influencer. I mean, I like to think that I influence my children to make good choices, and I influence my subordinate employees to make good content. Sure, I guess in some way we're all influencers, we're all content creators. It's just a matter of whether or not you want to make that your whole personality. That's up to you.
That's true. So talking about, let's say again, my side this time, I mean, my and let's say the developers in the industry. So many friends of mine sometimes contact me, say, I made an ad for the Quest. How do I get published on Upload? And my answer is write to tips at uploadvr.com and you can get the chance. But how do you think people can maximize the probability of being mentioned? Because many people want to be featured in your magazine, but no one knows how to, let's say, pick your interest.
There, I feel I have genuine sympathy for developers who are that. They are developers. They are able to create amazing content. They're able to make clever mechanisms and game mechanics. I'm constantly amused at the things, and I go, why didn't I think of that? That's so fun. That's so clever. Why didn't I think of that? Oh man. Well, what do you do? You've made a great game. Now what? I mean, that's kind of like you could probably make an entire YouTube series. So you've made a great thing. Now what do you do? Well, you have to get in front of your audience, and how do you do that? Well, you get on Upload. How do you get on Upload? All right. Well, it's a few things that you can do. Number one, get yourself a marketing or a publicity person. Well, I can't afford that. Okay, be your own marketing and publicity person. Well, how do I do that? All right, tips at uploadvr.com. It's an email address. Every email goes into our internal chat, and we all look at it and read it and make comments most of the time. It gets in front of somebody's eyes if you write tips at uploadvr.com in your to box in your email. But what do you put in it? Hi, I made a game. I would like you to report on it. Here's information on the game, maybe a trailer. Here's an ability to contact me. That's it. It's really all you got to do. Send us as much information as you can. If you can do a press release, do the press release. That'll come to us. Send it to us 10 times in tips. I don't care. Uh, Worst thing that could happen is we go, no. Best thing we can do is go, okay, here, somebody on the team, you go check this one out. Okay. What happens if you send us something and we all look at it and we all go, this guy thinks it's amazing, or this woman sent us this game and it is awesome. The only problem is it only functions on one headset that nobody has anymore. Well, it's a little too late. Might be a great game. Send them an email. Say, hey, do something different. Do something better. I don't know. How do you get on upload? You got to get on our radar. We're not out cold calling developers and saying, hey, do you have anything for us to report on? No. Okay, thanks. Bye. Hey, do you have anything for us to report on? No. Okay, thanks. Bye. Like, get it in front of us. Contact us. Be persistent. Be very persistent. Show the passion in your work. There's always, and this is, I hate to always say this, but you can buy a sponsored post on our site. We have them on the site all the time. People pay to have something very objective and we're not going to make comments. We're just going to say, this is the game. This is what it does. You should, if you want to know more about it, you should read this article. And it says sponsored. This has been paid for. Somebody paid for it. Not everybody has that to do. If you're a starving artist, which most indie devs are, you don't have that kind of money. You're trying to put, mac and cheese on the table for the kids. You can't be spending money on advertisement, but it does work. So I would love to say, hey, everybody just call me and I can't do that. It would be nonstop. It'd be chaos, even more than it already is. So yeah, tips at upload, easiest way to do it. If you see one of us at an event, come find us. AWE, how many people came and found me and said, hey, I've got this, and this that I'd like to show you. And, if I don't know it exists, I can't report on it. It's that simple. Be loud, be obnoxious. Yeah.
That's a good advice because sometimes I always like have the sensation I'm not a marketing guy that I'm like disturbing people by sending the info about the products I do. Instead, I should not have this fear. I should just publish it and say if
No,
I don't like it, I just don't publish it, and that's it.
the worst response you can get is no thanks. That's it. No. Ask. Be proud, be loud about your project. It's you, it's a representation of you. And if you don't feel that way about your project, maybe you need to rethink that.
That's wise. So I want to spend the last 10 minutes of this interview talking about something extra. Let's say not only upload. I mean, one of the reasons why we got connected is because we are in the industry since a lot of time. You much
Mhm.
before me. And so I want to ask you something about your, let's say, your view of the VR industry because you have been here since a lot of years. And how did you perceive this evolution of XR since when you started to now? What are the differences? What has been the same instead?
It's curious. The evolution of this industry has been, it's been peaks and valleys. Um, I, I feel like it was obvious to me early on. If I go back and listen to some of my old podcasts, things from 2014, 2015, I used to say that, well, everybody who is a fan of my content or have seen me on the VR download, upload show, they know that I always talk about being a bespectacled individual. I wear glasses. I've worn glasses since I was like 5.5, 6 years old. And so to me, it's very important that this industry gets to the point. And this is where I kind of predicted it a decade ago. And I think a lot of people, it was pretty obvious. I was just saying it, but it was pretty obvious to most people that, the Meta Ray-Ban Wayfarers that I have on, are closer to where I thought we were going to be than any of these other headsets that I've got.
Yeah.
Well, I said many times that I want to be able to wake up in the morning, grab my glasses, put them on, and then I can tap and go VR, AR, MR, XR, QR, I don't know, whatever, and just the okay, a reality toggle, a reality scroll wheel where I can scroll through all the different realities. I kind of said that that was the ultimate goal. That was the ultimate form factor. Computerizing glasses, or are we glassifying computers? That's something I saw debated online recently, and I thought that was intriguing because I don't know whether these function as glasses first or as um, AI device. I don't know, but this is so close in one way, but only one way. And I think where we're heading is, like I said, the scroll wheel of all the different realities. Once lenses and light fields and lasers, oh my, once all of that comes together and creates whatever it is that we're going to have to give us the different realities on our head, this form factor, this style, maybe a little stronger battery someday. I don't know. I believe that this is where we're heading. That it's the road to this. We will it go further? Probably. Is it imperceivable? 50-50 maybe. I guess you could kind of Arthur C. Clarke it a little bit and predict some crazy stuff and be right. But I I feel like there's a lot of potential still for, this sort of nonsense to still keep evolving and becoming something totally different. But I don't think I think it's going to be iterative. I think it's going to be baby steps from here. I think we went and it's like parabolic. Actually, it's more like this parabolic. And now I think we're just going to do little iterations for the next couple of years until we end up where it's just everybody just has this, and it provides everything that all of these other headsets do, and then some. That's where I see us going. How long will it take? Another 5-10 years. How long before mainstream adoption where grandma is walking around with one of these things on? 5-10 years. It's easy to predict 5. It's impossible to do 10 fairly well. I don't know. So yeah, that's where I'm thinking we're heading. Is we're just going to do small iteration over time, computational power, and Moore's law or whatever version of that we're at now. I think it'll just keep getting better and better, and it's just obvious, the direction we're heading. And who knows where we'll end up 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now. It's exciting. Keeps the fire in my belly going. That's what's fun.
It's the same for me. And talk about the old good days. I mean, we're still in the old good days. Yeah. But
Are we? I don't know if we are or not. Michael Abrash said that many moons ago at Oculus Connect. I think it was Oculus Connect. Well,
yeah,
these are
but
the good old days, But are they? Are we still in it? Are we done? Are the good old days over? I've had a few people ask me that, and I'm not really sure how to answer.
I think we are still maybe for 1 year or such, and then we'll start do something
Okay.
else. And but talking about really the when you started, when the industry was even much more in an amateur style than now. You have some, I don't know, interesting or fun story to tell from those times. Because if I ask like Ben Lang about them, he will mention, I don't know, the Oculus Killer, which I always answer, it worked because Oculus doesn't exist anymore. So it killed it in a way.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, that's an interesting
Do you have
way to look
other
at that.
ones? Do you have something that comes to your mind now about some fun moments in your past in itself?
I have had. I've had so many fun experiences. I don't even know if I could pick one. Um, I was at the Silicon Valley Virtual Reality Expo in 2014. And for a lot of us, it was the first time we had all come together and seen each other in meet space, actually
Oh,
being physically in the room together. And Ben Lang was there, Palmer Luckey was there. I've got a picture of the three of us together. First time all three of us
wow.
together in a picture. Yeah, it's kind of fun. And I'd gone up to Palmer, and I think this was right after, it had to have been right after Facebook bought Oculus. Yeah, I think it was right after. And I said, hey, me and a bunch of the other podcasters from the industry, we're going to do what we called an Uber cast. It was the very first time we had ever done a big podcast with all of us together, the Uber cast.
Wow.
And it's a fantastic listen because we all just started talking. And I had said to Palmer, I said, hey, Palmer, if you've got an opportunity to come in here, we're going to be in here, recording. If you feel like coming in, come in. Well, he looked in, and we're in this big conference room, and he walks by. He's got a plate with just like some cheese and fruit and stuff. He's walking by, and then he comes in, and without missing a beat, I just go, oh, we've got this special guest that just walked in the door, and he comes in, and he goes, it's Steve Jobs, and I mean, it was. He sat down, and he was so. Just gracious to sit there and just yak with us, just like one of the, he was just a fan, just like the rest of us, and just having a good conversation. And he talked about injecting guacamole into chicken bakes at Costco, and just the most ridiculous things. And it reminds me that it's real human beings with real passion that made all of this possible. It's the passion that made it possible. If nobody cared about what they were doing, if nobody wanted to be the first to try to drive this new mechanism or this new game mechanic or this new experience, what if we did this? What if we did this? Those are all important things. And I think it's critical that a lot of these people come together and put their brains together and drive the industry forward. And little stories. I mean, I could tell so many stories. I could share so many pictures. Oof, man. You'd have to schedule a whole nother hour or two just for us to go through and talk about old stories. I got so many fun ones.
I would love to. Maybe next year. Let's do it. I just want to ask you, let's say, we're almost out of time, but I want to ask you these final two questions. And one, they are most typical of my interviews. And I mean, you've been through an amazing VR career, and also you shared a lot of improvements you also had in your personal life. So you went through a lot of good things. Do you want to share some life lesson in general to people watching this interview? Whatever you want, that I don't know, something you learned along your path of life, in work, in personal life, whatever. You say, yeah, I want really to share this with people. Maybe it can help someone else.
People who remember me in the beginning of the industry probably have a visual representation of me in their brain that is not compatible with the current offering. I was a bigger guy, and I had a ponytail and a lot. I looked a lot different back in the day, sporting the fedora and just embracing the stereotype is what I used to say. Um, I've gone through a lot of significant changes in my life for the better, and it was because I simply said, "It's mine. It's my life. It's my decision to do what I want to do." And it, I'm not into this whole like, if you will it to be, it will be. Now I mean, sure, I'm sure there's some value to that, but for me, it I can't remember who the quote was from, but somebody said, these people haven't figured out magic. There's no genie in a bottle to granting wishes. These people they're doing something you're not doing. And if you keep doing what you're doing, you'll keep getting what you're getting. If you want something different, if you want a different result, you have to do something different. And so if you're not happy with your stage in life, if you're not happy with your presence, if you're not happy with anything, then change something. It's all about change. The delta in your life. What are you doing to change? And at the same time, what things are working for you? Embrace those. And I mean, I guess it's just good life advice. There's no secret. These people who are happy and successful, it's not a secret. They're just doing something you're not. So you just got to do it and take charge of your life. And I guess this is good advice to all the developers in the world. Make your game known, make your game popular, make your game famous, put it in front of my face. And if you have to come and knock on my door at my house, please don't do that. But if you're willing to do that, it means you're passionate. So that should come through in the way that you talk about things. Is people should hear the passion. If you're listening to me and you don't hear the passion of my voice, then I'm doing something wrong.
I can
It's
feel
that
it.
simple. That's good.
So you're
Good.
doing it right. So for the last 6 months of this interview, my usual final question is say whatever you want. You have final open question just to say whatever from insulting me to say hello everyone to promote yourself. The mic is yours.
Sure. What I'll do is I'll give you the same thing I do at the end. Whenever I'm on VR download, which you can find on YouTube if you search for Upload VR or go to uploadvr.com. This is what I do at the end of the show is I just say, hey, if you'd like more uh, news, reviews, comments, and interviews. I think I did that in the right order. Go to uploadvr.com. If you've got something you want us to see, get it in front of our editorial team. Tips, Tips, tips uploadvr.com. Go to uploadvr.com every day, at least 100 times a day. That would be my recommended dosage is take daily 100 times. And yeah, watch VR download. Our YouTube channel is so wonderful and awesome. Has some great stuff there, content. And I think you should also read Scared Ghost because I think awesome. Anthony here is a great guy. I've met him several times. I love the idea that there are so many unique, interesting, and valuable personalities in this space. And I don't want you to choose one. I want you to patronize all of them, read all of their stuff, watch all of their stuff. That's rising tide raises all ships. I'm convinced of it. So yeah. And if you see me at a show or you see me at an event, say hi. I like to meet people. Come tell me your story. I want to hear it too.
That's amazing. So, ladies and gentlemen, this was Kyle Riesenbeck. Very, very passionate guy, and I loved hearing this interview. And luckily, we are tight on time. Otherwise, I will speak with you for really other 4 hours. Thanks again for taking part of this and to celebrate my little blog birthday. And thanks also to everyone watching this interview or reading this article on the blog. Of course, being a reader of Upload via every week I read it, so I invite you to read it. And for the rest, I invite you also to enjoy your time in VR. So bye bye everyone. Thank you, Kyle.
Thank you.